All right. Okay, guys, let's get started. Okay, so here is our practice quiz. Like I said, your quiz tomorrow is going to look identical to this. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Before that, I guess, I do want to give you kind of a rundown of what the layout of it is. You got these questions on the front page where you're just finding slope. The whole first page, that's all you do. You don't need to write equations, just slope. And the next page, you've got two different questions here. These questions, you are writing equations. This one, your slope is given to you on number 5, so you don't have to solve for slope for 5. Number 6, you have to find slope first. You are not given a slope. Okay, now the last page, just these two questions. All you do here is write the new equation of the line for a line that is parallel. And remember, guys, parallel lines, what do we know about their slopes? They have the same slope. So all you're going to do is basically you're writing the exact same type of problem as in number 5. I'm giving you a coordinate right here, and I'm giving you a slope, which is right here, -1/6. You just take the slope out of the equation and then solve using this coordinate, just like we did on the other one. Now, the perpendicular, what do we know about perpendicular slopes?
Flip-flop.
Yeah, we flip-flop them and make them negative. So it's really the exact same thing. We'll run through that process together again. But you're going to figure out what your slope is and then use the coordinate to solve. This is going to be a very simple, straightforward quiz, I think, for you guys. And like I said, we're going to do it together. Now, you do get a bonus question at the end. And the bonus question is involving the word problems. We only went over like 2 examples of a word problem together. So again, if you get this right, it helps you. If you get it wrong, it does nothing. It won't hurt you. Okay. So let's look at number 1. I need to find the slope of each of these lines. What should I do to find the slope of number 1?
Count up, rise, and count over to run.
Yeah, guys, remember slope is just rise over run. So I'm going to write out to the side, and you could do this too if you think it would help you. I'm going to write rise in blue because my rise is my y values going up and down. And run is in red because I write red and for x's. Run is our x value. It's how far we go left to right. So that's all we're doing. We're just going to be counting and writing the numbers down. So what is our rise here? Where do we start from to find the rise?
0.
Start from 0 to find our rise? Yeah, we want to start on our coordinate. We're trying to measure the distance between the height of this coordinate and the height of this coordinate. So let's go ahead and just start from this bottom one. I'm going to draw the line that would represent my rise, and I'll label it rise. You don't have to do this on your quiz. I just need the answer, but I'm just showing you guys visually. So here's my rise. Let's go ahead and count that. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I already have my rise. My rise is 4. And let's count our run. Where am I going to be counting the run on this? From where? From 4? Do you mean 4 down here? Or yeah, you're just going to count from wherever you just drew over to the next coordinate. You're drawing that right triangle to find the rise over run. So I'm really just finding the distance between this coordinate and this coordinate. So my run, I'll label that, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Good, 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 good. So my rise was 4, my run was 5, Now, is my slope positive or negative?
Negative 4/5.
It's negative because our line, as we move left to right, it goes pointing downward. So this is a negative slope, okay? And if you want to draw a little key out to the side, I'll show you this real quick. I'll give you a little key to help. All right. So this, anytime the line is facing downward this way, it is a negative slope. If my line goes upward like this, from left to right, it points up, that's a positive slope. Okay. All right, so we got our rise over run, 4/5, and we said that it is positive or negative? Negative. So our answer would be negative 4/5. That's it, guys. Not too tricky. Okay, any questions on number 1 before we try 2? All right, number 2. What should we do here? How do we find our slope in number 2?
Start from the lower coordinate.
Yeah, we could absolutely, it doesn't matter which one we start from, but let's start with this lower one. Our rise is the difference in the y values. We're starting here and we're going to go up to where that next coordinate lands. So our rise is going to be 1, 2. Okay, so I'll label that rise 2. All right. And how am I going to find my run?
Over.
Yeah, I'm going to count from where I stopped over to see what my x distance is, my run. So I'm going to just draw this line and then we'll count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my run is 5. Now, is this slope positive or negative? Positive. Good. So what's my slope?
2/5.
2/5. Perfect. Any questions about number 2? Anybody confused? We all feel okay? All right. Let's go ahead to number 3 and 4. This is where we're finding slope using the slope formula. You could get graph paper and draw these on your graph, but that is going to be very time consuming. And you're going to need a very large graph for some of these points. So what can we do instead of counting rise over run?
Label your coordinates.
Yeah, we could label our coordinates. What am I going to end up doing with my coordinates? What can I use to find slope?
X1, X2, X1, X2,
Yes. Yes, good. We're going to be using the slope formula, guys. So above this, where I have some room, I'm going to just write the slope formula out as a reference to myself. I'm going to do my parentheses and my minus signs. Okay. Now, remember, whenever we're doing slope, it's rise over run. Our rise is our y values, so we subtract y's on top for the formula. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is the formula we'll use. So now I'm going to do what Michael said. Let's label our coordinates. I have x1 here, x2 for 5, and then I'll label my y's. y1 and y2. Okay. All right. So what do I do now?
You're going to do y2 minus y1, so you're going to be doing negative 14
Uh-huh.
minus negative 17.
Oh, pay attention to which one we're looking at. Y and another
Oh, yeah,
Y.
negative 14.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and plug those in. I've got negative 14 for y2 minus negative 27. Yes. So guys, remember, your slope formula is a subtraction problem. If you are subtracting a negative, that doesn't make this minus disappear. It won't be negative 14 minus 27. It's negative 14 minus negative 27. And when we have two negatives, or, you know, a negative and a minus to each other, yes, I just heard somebody say it, that's going to turn it into negative 14 plus 27. When we have two minus signs by each other, they like to join each other and become a plus. Okay, so I got that. What am I going to write on the bottom of my parentheses? Yeah, x2 minus x1, so that's 5 minus negative 17. And same thing happens here. This will become 5 plus 17 because of those two minus signs or negatives being right by each other. Okay, any questions up to this point? All right, what do we need to do here now?
Negative 14 plus 27.
Yeah, what's negative 14 plus 27?
Positive 13.
Oop, I believe you. Positive 13 over, what is 5 plus 17? 22. All right, so we got 13 over 22 for our slope. So I'm going to write that right over here. I tried to give you guys a little spot to write your answer. Okay, that's it for number 3. Any questions? All right, let's move on to number 4. We're doing the exact same thing. So let's get through it. First, I want to label my coordinates. I've got x1, x2, got y1 and y2. Okay, and now that I've got everything labeled, what should I do? Yeah, plug them into the slope formula. So I'm going to write my parentheses out. This time I'm going to go ahead and put my minus sign in there so I don't forget it. All right, what goes in the top parentheses? Negative 19 minus 9. Good. And the bottom parentheses? 2. Yes, 2 minus negative 5. Yes, good. So this is really 2 plus 5. And let's see, what's negative 19 minus 9?
Negative 28.
Negative 28. Good job. So we have negative 28 over, what's 2 plus 5? Negative 28 over 7.
Brings it to a negative 4 over 1.
Ooh, simplify. Good. Negative 28 divided by 7, oops, is negative 4. So remember to simplify, guys. Always check in your calculator and see if it comes out to something more simple than what we got. Good job, Star. So that is negative 4 simplified. Okay. And just so we all feel good about it, let's look at number 3 again. I got 13 over 22 as my slope. How could I check to make sure that this is simplified? Is there a way I could check? Yeah, first we could try 13 divided by 22. Let's see. 13 divided by 20. Oops. Yeah, it's point something, 0.590. Okay, so we know that that's not going to become a whole number there. And then if you know, this is something that you may have learned back in like 1st grade. It was a long time ago. 13 is what we call a prime number. Have you guys ever heard of prime numbers? Prime numbers are numbers that are only divisible by 1 or themselves. And if I cannot put it into 22, there's no other option that they'll both be divisible by. Okay, so that's simplified. We don't need to go any further there. Any questions on the first page? Guys, we just did half the quiz already. That's great. Okay, moving on. Okay, on number 5, we are writing the equation of the line that passes through the given coordinate with the given slope. So first of all, what is my slope-intercept formula? Good. It's y equals mx plus b. All right. Now, let's talk about what each part of this equation means. What does the m stand for? Slope. Good. And what's the b? Y-intercept. And in my final answer here, when I have my equation written out, where do I want numbers in my equation and where do I want to keep variables? You guys remember? Yep, in front of the x. Say that again. For the x and the y? So you mean put numbers in for x and y or keep them x and y?
Numbers, plug in the numbers.
Yeah, we are going to plug in numbers to find our final answer.
Y and x stay the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, in your final answer, that's what I was asking. Whenever you give your equation, because we're writing an equation here, your final equation, you should not have a number for y. It'll be y equals a number for m, x plus a number for b. So the things that I underlined here, the m and the b, are the only things that should have numbers in your final answer. Okay, what should we do first here, guys?
Label our coordinates.
Yeah, let's label our coordinates. That's always a great place to start. I've got x is negative 10 and y is negative 10. It's the same number. Okay. What should I do next?
Plug your coordinates into slope-intercept.
Yeah, let's plug our coordinates into slope-intercept. And I also want you guys to remember that slope, we do have that. We're going to need m, and this is our m. So we can plug that in too. So I have y equals, and what's my y value I'm going to put in?
Negative 10.
Negative 10 equals mx. What's my m? 3. And that's going to be times x. What's
Negative 10.
good? Times negative 10 plus b. All right. There's nothing else I can plug in, is there? Nope, there's not. So now it's time to solve. What am I going to do here to solve?
3 times negative 10 is negative 30.
Good. 3 times negative 10 is negative 30, and then I'll bring everything else down. So now I have negative 10 equals negative 30 plus b. What's next?
Plus 30.
Plus 30 on both sides. All right, what happens next? Good. 30's cancel. What's negative 10 plus 30?
20.
20. Positive 20. So 20, bring down my equal sign, bring down my b. We have a b value, guys. Good job. And guess what? We also have an m value. All we need is m and b, so we can write our equation. What's our equation?
Y equals 3 times, or 3x. I did it again.
That's okay. You're all
I
right.
will get that, I promise. Plus 20.
Yes. Our final answer is y equals 3x plus 20. And then you circle it. Please circle your answer. Please circle your answer. And
So that we could ask any questions.
ask a question. Go for it.
Okay, so if I continue with this minus 10 times You're still gonna pass me, right?
Yes, Star. I get you. You're good. Oh, I love it. Okay, any questions about number 5? Do we feel okay about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Let's try 6. All right, now it says we need to write the equation of the line that passes through these 2 coordinates. What are my 3 steps that I need to take when I'm writing an equation? Do you guys remember that?
Find slope.
Yep, so step 1 is find slope, which is your M. What's step 2?
It's a little bit of,
Oh,
it's a little bit cheating here, but one of the coordinates already gives us a y-intercept.
You are correct, it does. You're absolutely right. So I'm going to take that as the answer for number 2 as well. Number 2 is after we find slope, we need to find our y-intercept, or B. And once you have those 2 things, you just write the equation. That's it.
oh, okay.
That's it. Okay, now we know what steps we're going to take. How are we going to find slope?
Label your coordinates.
Yes, let's label our coordinates. I've got an x1, x2, and then I've got a y1 and a y2. All right.
Write our equation,
Yes, we're going to be using our slope formula.
y equals
Oh yeah, let's do that too. Y equals mx plus b. Thank you, Star.
your welcome.
Okay, now let's plug our coordinates into the slope formula. You guys remember what that is?
Yes.
It's on the board if you don't.
It is y2, y1,
Uh-huh.
x2, x1.
Good. So what numbers am I writing in on the top?
12,
Negative 6.
Minus negative 6.
Good. 12 minus negative 6.
which becomes a positive.
Yes, it does. And our bottom?
Negative 9.
Mm-hmm. Negative 9 minus
Oh, good job.
0.
0. Good. Okay, let's go ahead and find our slope, guys. So, positive 12 minus negative 6 is the same thing as 12 plus 6. Okay, so what's 12 plus 6? I heard you say it, 18 over negative 9 minus 0 is? Oh, not 0.
Negative 9.
Yes, negative 9. Now, can we simplify?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
2 over 1.
Yeah, so guys, if you type it in your calculator or if you just start thinking about it, let's do some division here. I'm going to divide both sides by 9, or both top and bottom. 18 divided by 9 is what?
2.
2. Negative 9 divided by 9 is
1.
negative 1. So don't lose your negative in that process.
I got it.
You got it, girl. And this is going to be a lot easier to work with. We're not graphing, so we don't necessarily need to put it in rise over run form. If you do, I'm not going to count you off. I just think whenever we're solving and writing an equation, it's a little more simple to just work with a whole number. So here's my slope. Keep track of your items too. Don't accidentally make this your B. This is slope. We found it.
Where is that?
Oh no, man. Hopefully it's nothing for us.
Clearly, if it's a serious one, it should be louder. So you
Yeah, that's what I'm
should
thinking.
have speakers.
I agree. Big time I agree. I don't know what that is.
If we were in danger, we would.
Right. If we're in danger, hopefully somebody will just get us. Okay. All right. Moving on. We found our slope. What's next?
Are we gonna find our y-intercept?
Yes, we need to find our y-intercept. So, which coordinate would we like to use?
I went with 12, negative 9.
Think so?
Assume it's negative.
12 and negative 9? Okay, we can do that. Let's do that. Let me get this. Okay, so whenever we are solving for B, what steps do we need to take?
We need to use our formula.
Yes.
The equation, I mean.
We need to use this equation, y equals mx plus b. So we're going to plug in a value for y, and we said we were going to use the second coordinate. So let's do 12 equals m, what's our slope? -2, good, times x, which x value do we need to use? -9, good. You got to keep it consistent. Plus b. All right. Let's solve it. What's -2 times -9? Yes, we're going to get a positive 18 here. Then I'm going to bring everything down. 12 equals 18 plus b. What's next? Yes, we're going to subtract 18 from both sides. My 18s cancel. What's 12 minus 18? -6 equals b. So we just found our y-intercept. Now before we write our equation, I'm going to point out, Erica, are you about to point it out too? Go ahead. You want to say it? Tell them what you noticed.
If one of your coordinates gives you a 0 for x, that means that the y in that coordinate is going to be the y-intercept.
Yes. So guys, in case you want a little recap of that, remember whenever I had you identify the y-intercept last unit, and we would write it as a coordinate, 0 for x and then whatever your y value is. If you are ever given a coordinate with an x that is 0, that's your y-intercept. You don't have to solve for b. This is it. We got -6. So save yourself a step if you can recognize that and remember that. If you want to just double check and make sure you're right, absolutely, knock yourself out and do this. Yes, Erica?
So I think it's a phone calculator error, but when I originally ran -9 and 12 for the y-intercept,
Uh-huh.
it gave me 11.78 for some reason.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder why. I might have to peek at that later and see what went on. It's so strange. Okay, yes, Star.
Okay, I'm with Erica on that. I did remember, if you notice, when you look at mine, I arrowed it.
Ooh, look at you, girl.
Work the equation out, because you were
Yes.
saying work it out, work it. So
Yep.
I just want you to realize that I was.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Good job. Yes, so guys, once again, if you ever have a coordinate with a 0 for x, that's your y-intercept. You can save yourself the time of writing all this out. Okay, so we found our slope. We found our y-intercept. What's our equation?
2 equals -6, x plus -6.
Let's take it real slowly. We're going to do y equals m, so our slope, x plus b, our y-intercept. So we need to label our work. We found b over here, that was -6. We found slope over here, that was -2. So when we start our equation, can somebody tell me, guys, what are we going to write?
Y
Equals,
-2x
yep, -2.
Plus,
X, don't forget your x.
plus,
Uh-huh. Plus -6. Now, is this simplified?
You're in the plus.
Yeah, if you have plus a negative, I don't want that in your final answer. This is okay for when you're doing your work, but you need to have your final answer is y equals -2x minus 6. That plus is unnecessary. We don't need it. Okay?
But that's only when it's a negative number.
Only when it's a negative number, yes. You don't have to even do this step if you don't want to write the plus out and remember to switch it. Anytime you get a negative number for b, it's always going to be minus. You're going to get rid of that plus. All right, everybody okay with that? All right, we're gonna circle our answer. Do not forget to circle that equation on your quiz, please. This is a lot of work to look through, and I don't want to accidentally grade the wrong thing, okay? All right, any questions? All right, we're on to the last two, guys. And then our bonus, of course. All right, number 7, it says, write the equation of each line described. So we're going to be writing an equation in that same form, y equals mx plus b. So I'll just write that above here just to remind myself. And the steps to write my equation don't change. It's the same 3 steps. Step 1, I'll write it out again.
Find your slope.
Yep. Step 1, find slope. I'm just going to write m. Step 2, find your y-intercept, or b. Find b. Step 3, write equation. It is as simple as that. Even though these problems look different, it does not change what we're doing here. We're doing the same 3 steps. Okay. So remind me, what do we know about parallel lines and their slopes?
They always go in the same direction, but never touch.
Very true, Star. They do always go in the same direction here, and they'll never cross. The reason they never cross is because they have the same slope. If 2 lines have the same slope, they're never going to turn into each other. So I'm going to write above parallel, same slope. So before we start trying to write this new equation, we were given this as our original equation. This is the line that we're going to be parallel to. So to make our new one, we need to find m from the old equation. What's our slope? -1/6. That's my slope. So I'm going to circle it and I'm going to label it. I'm going to put a little m. All right. Do we also have a b?
Yes.
2.
We do. We do have a b. Now the only thing to keep in mind here is do not bring this down to your new equation. This is irrelevant. This is the old line. The old line that we were given has a +2. It doesn't matter. The only thing we take from the old line is the slope. That's it. Don't worry about the rest of it. Even if you want to completely cross it out, if that helps you, do it. We need slope and we need to solve for b. All right, we have slope. Step 1 is done. How do we solve for b?
We write slope intercept, plug in your coordinates.
Yes, we're going to rewrite our slope intercept, y equals -1/6 x plus b, and we're going to plug our coordinates into that. So before I do that, I'm going to label them so I don't mix them up. X is 2, y is -7. All right, so if I'm doing y equals, I'm going to write -7 equals. All right, and then I need mx. What's my m? -1/6. Good. And because it's a negative and it's a fraction, I just don't want to accidentally lose any part of it. I'm going to put it in parentheses just so I keep track of my stuff. So mx. What's my x?
2.
2. Good. 2. And what's the last part of this equation?
Plus b.
Plus b. Good. All right. What should I do now?
Change it into a decimal.
Yeah, you could change it into a decimal. Absolutely. You could. There's a lot of different things you could do here. You could type it in your calculator. Let's do this. If I have -1/6, that's just -1 divided by 6. Okay, so I'm going to type -1 divided by 6 times 2. 0 or -0.3 repeating. So you could just write -0.3 or 0.3. Don't lose your negative though. -0.3. Okay, so what else do I need to do here?
Drop everything down.
Drop everything down. I still have plus b equals a -7. All right, what's my next step?
Plus 0.3.
Yeah, we need to get rid of this, so we're going to add plus 0.3 to both sides. And what is -7 plus 0.3?
-6.7.
Yeah, it'll be -6 point, is it 6 repeating?
Yeah.
Okay, so -6.66666 forever. You can round it up to -6.7 if you'd like. You could also write -6.6. I'm not going to count you off for the rounding, not rounding, that's fine. So we got -6.7 equals B. Good. All right, we have our M, we have our B. Now what do we do? Write the equation. What's my equation?
Y equals -1, 6, x minus 6.7.
Perfect. Y equals -1/6 x minus, because we've got a negative number, minus 6.7. That's it. That's your equation. Good job, guys. Anybody have any questions? Do we all feel okay about that? Okay. Awesome. Can we move on to number 8? All right, let's do it. So here is the only slightly different one. What do we know about perpendicular slopes?
They're the opposite.
They're kind of the opposite, guys. Perpendicular slopes are what we call, and I'm going to write it out, negative reciprocal. Negative reciprocal. Negative reciprocal. So, how do we find a negative reciprocal slope? It sounds scary, but it's really easy, guys. How do I do it?
Turn the slope upside down.
That's all you do. Turn the slope upside down and change the sign. So in this case, I have a -3x. So I'm going to circle that. Or -3. I don't need the x. My bad, guys. So I first, if I have a whole number, start by putting it as a fraction. It's really -3/1. Okay. Now, how am I going to find the negative reciprocal of that? What do I do? Yeah, so all I do is I see I have a negative. I'm going to change it to a positive, and I'm going to take the bottom and the top and switch them around. It's going to be positive 1/3. That's it. We found our slope. Step 1 is done. That's it. And Tasha, I think that's the only thing that you really missed was this and the parallel. So I'm happy to give you some practice on this as well before tomorrow. But this is the only extra thing that you got to learn is this negative reciprocal, and you got it. You got it. Okay, so we found our M. What's step 2? Yeah, we need to find B, so we're going to plug everything into y equals mx plus b. So before I do that, I'm going to label my coordinates just because I don't want to mix them up. And I'm going to be writing -6 for y equals m. What's my m? 1/3. We just found that. 1/3. Yep. So m times x, and our x value is 3. Plus b. Good. Now guys, quick trick here. If you don't want to have to type all this in your calculator, anybody know what 1/3 times 3 is? It's just 1. It's just 1. If I have, whenever I multiply a fraction that is 1 over a number, when I multiply it by a whole number that's the same as the denominator, it becomes 1. It's like these 3's cancel, and it's just 1. So if you're uncomfortable with that, feel free to type it in your calculator. But we are going to get 1 plus b equals -6. What do I do here now?
-1.
-1 on both sides. Okay, what is -6 minus 1?
-7.
-7 equals b. We found our b. We found our m. What's my equation?
Y equals 1/3 x minus 7.
Good. Y equals 1/3 for m, x minus 7, because we got a negative b, -7. Good job. Okay, any questions? Any questions at all? Which part are you feeling confused on?
No, just running like the numbers, getting all the numbers.
Is it finding?
All of it, like.
Okay, here's what I'm thinking. We're almost done with this practice quiz. Whenever we are done going through it, everyone else is dismissed. Anyone that wants to stay and work with me about anything you're confused about, stay. We still have lots of time left. And I'll make sure you feel good before you leave. Sound good?
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Any other questions about number 8? Okay. Here's our bonus question. This is something we barely went over in class. This is why it's a bonus question. If you get it wrong, it won't hurt you. If you get it right, it'll help you. Okay? So, for this bonus question, we have a word problem. You'll get 1 point, a bonus point, if you get the correct answer. You'll get 2 bonus points if you're able to write a correct equation for the answer. So, here it is. Brianna wants to finally reach her goal of owning 34 houseplants. She currently owns 4 plants. If Brianna can only get 2 more plants each day, how many more days is it going to take for her to reach her goal? So anytime that we are trying to solve a word problem, there are 3 things that I would like you to pull out of the problem itself. So I'm going to make you a little list. Yes, Erica?
So what I have is, I took the days as our slope. Well, our plants per day as a slope.
Yes.
Y is going to be our plants.
Uh-huh.
X is going to be our days. And our origin point is 0, 4. That's also our y-intercept.
Perfect.
And our goal point is x 34.
Love it. Erica, you are hitting the nail on the head. That is wonderful. Let's go ahead and do this step by step. We'll break it down. First of all, it's very important to know these 3 things. If you want to write this on your practice quiz, you can use this tomorrow. So we want to know what the goal is. We want to know what the starting point is. And we also want to know the rate, or how quickly something can happen. And if you want to put it in parentheses, the rate is your slope. And your starting point, guys, I'll give you this little hint too. That's going to be your y-intercept, or your b.
So in equation form, it would look like goal equals rate plus start.
Yeah. So here, let's write that out. What our equation is going to end up looking as is y equals rate x plus starting point. This is how you're going to write the equation. And to find the goal, we'll be solving by plugging something in and solving for the answer. So let's break this down. In this problem, the first sentence says, Brianna wants to finally reach her goal of owning 34 houseplants. What is her goal as a numerical value?
34.
34. She wants to have 34 plants. So for her goal, I'm going to write 34. All right. Let's keep reading. She currently owns 4 plants. What's her starting point?
4.
4. She already has 4. Okay, let's keep reading. Says, if Brianna can only get 2 more plants each day, how many more days will it take? So what's the rate? How quickly can she get more plants? 2 a day. 2 a day. So it's just going to be 2. All right. And if it helps, I'm going to circle in the question where I found those numbers. 2 was our rate. 4 was that starting point. And that goal was 34. All right. Now, you guys don't have to do all of this tomorrow. Obviously, it's a bonus question, you know, like it's okay. If you don't even do it, it's not going to hurt you, but it's worth a try. So now that we have the goal, the starting point, and the rate, we could go ahead and write our equation because we have the rate here, or our slope. We have the starting point, or our y-intercept. What would my equation be?
Y equals 2x plus 4.
Yeah, y equals, my rate is 2x plus, what was my starting point? 4. Did I write the wrong? No, okay, I got it. 4. I thought I wrote the wrong thing. Y equals 2x plus 4. This would be your equation. All we needed for that was the rate and the starting point. Okay, now how are we going to figure out how many days it's going to take?
Solve for x.
Yes. So I want to give you guys a little visual for this because I personally have a very hard time kind of conceptualizing. Here, let me move this. Conceptualizing which value should be x and which one should be y. So I'm going to draw a picture. I had to draw a picture before I even taught it to you because I just couldn't figure it out. So if I have a graph, I'm going to make a little graph. All right. Think of this as a portion of a graph that you would do for a line. You know, this is like the top right corner. Which part is my x-axis? Which part is my y-axis?
Up and down is y.
Yes, up and down is always y. And that means left to right has to be x. Okay. Anytime that you are trying to graph something, like if you're trying to show progress over time, whether it be, I don't know, maybe you're trying to hit a weight goal or you're trying to, I don't know, any kind of goal you can think of, you always want to see your progress growing up and down. You want to see your number going up and down. I'm not going to be putting how much time has passed going up this way. So on my up and down, my y-axis, I'm measuring the number of houseplants. Because as her houseplants grow, as she gets more houseplants, it's going to be a lot easier to see her progress if we plot it as points like this way. Like, oh, you know, this is how many she has on this day. This is how many she has on this day. Okay, so the only other thing that we have is the amount of days. We're going to put our time frame on the x-axis. All right, let me do this. Our time value, which in this case, in the sentence here, it gives us, it talks about days. How many days will it take? So my x values are days. All right. So we don't necessarily have to plot any real points here. This is more of just a visual help. We are trying to see the answer to this question here. It says, how many more days will it take for her to reach her goal? So her goal is what?
34.
34. So that means 34 houseplants. That's going to be a Y value. And we don't know how many days, our X value. We don't know X, but we know that Y is 34. So this is the coordinate that I've created. Again, you don't have to write a coordinate. If you know how to conceptualize it in your brain without drawing a picture, great, but I need a picture. So I have a Y value that I could plug into my equation. And if I do that, all I have left is an X. I could totally just solve for X, guys. So let's do that. All right, so the Y value is 34. So what am I going to write using my equation here? What am I going to write, guys?
34 equals 2x plus 4.
Yeah, 34 equals 2x plus 4. And I'm just going to solve for x. Okay, what's my first step?
Subtract 4.
Subtract 4 from both sides. Good. 34 minus 4 is 30 equals 2x.
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2. And Tasha, you were right. We're going to get 15 for x. So to answer number of days, we would say 15. Awesome. Any questions? Guys, that's it today, okay? If you feel good about this and you're like, I'm going to ace this tomorrow, awesome. You are free to go. You can use your notes on the quiz tomorrow. You're welcome to use this tomorrow. Whatever's going to be helpful. If you have any questions or you want to stay for a little extra practice, you're welcome to. But if not, you are free to go. I'm going to end this recording. Great job today, guys. No exit ticket today. You'll have that quiz tomorrow.